Taiwan, 3 teams remain alive in their pursuit of 2 tickets to the 2026 World Baseball Classic, and tonight, 2 of them square off at a jam-packed Tokyo Dome as 1-1 Chinese Taipei plays host to unbeaten Nicaragua. Hi everybody and welcome inside the Taipei Dome alongside the former Major Leaguer and 2-time Team Australia WBC participant Ryan Rowland-Smith. My name is Tyler Mon. Ryan, tonight Chinese Taipei playing in a matchup against an unbeaten Nicaragua team with the possibility that this is the first of 2 meetings between these 2 teams that we'll see in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, well, the good news for their fans, they get to see these guys again on Tuesday. But what about Nicaragua? They have done the little things, that they've lived off pitching and defense. Ken Will Burton started the game, really an unknown, making his debut, and then the JC Ramirez, a former big leaguer. What about Yeris Gonzalez? This gets in a jam with loaded bases in the 9th inning, a 1-1 game, where Spain was so potent the night before with that offense, able to shut him down, and that led to this moment. In the 10th inning, just like the night before against South Africa, Alegria comes in, walks it off in extra innings. Look, only a couple runs each game for this offense. Doesn't matter, they're sitting in the driver's seat at 2-0.
It has been enough for Nicaragua, back-to-back walk-off victories, but you see the way that these standings stack up. And with a result tonight that is a Chinese Taipei win, we would have a 3-way tie with 3 teams at 2-1. 1 will move on to the 2026 Classic tonight. 2 more will play again for that 2nd ticket on Tuesday. Lineups and first pitch for Nicaragua and Chinese Taipei next from the Dome. We are set for a fun matchup here tonight at the Taipei Dome as Nicaragua and Chinese Taipei. This has been a hotly anticipated one coming into this World Baseball Classic Qualifier, Ryan. These are the 2 teams that dropped out of the main tournament after 2023. They play here in the Qualifier, and this is the starting 9 tonight for Sandor Guido and Nicaragua.
Yeah, not a whole lot of offense. We talked about that in the open from Nicaragua. Built off pitching, built off defense, but maybe tonight they can get it going. They can take a breath because they're in the driver's seat. But Montez, Leighton, Dawson, Miranda at the top of this lineup done most of the damage, and they'll be facing off against Leng Sheng Su for Chinese Taipei. Now, if it was a little bit different situation, they're going to maybe adjust the pitching, but he was slated to pitch tonight regardless. And they got the off day tomorrow. And Tuesday will be a big day for this team and their 40,000 fans in this building.
This is, as Ryan noted in the open, not necessarily what this fan base was planning on or hoping for. They honestly, I think a lot of people thought, well, they're just going to roll through these 3 games in the qualifier. They're coming off a Premier 12 championship. They have not had things go as planned. They will be here again on Tuesday, but tonight they get to go in service of a very good young arm and the defensive alignment behind him.
Yeah, a very similar defense to what we're seeing. Lin, Chen, and Sung in the outfield. Really the only change is Shih-Sen Chen, the captain. He is DHing tonight, giving him a little bit of a breather. But very similar defense to what we're seeing last night against South Africa.
So we are just about ready to go here on this Sunday evening, as Nicaragua's Juan Diego Montes will lead off tonight for his team. Montes, Brandon Layton, Chase Dawson, the three due into the batter's box against this young right-hander, Xiangcheng Su, who has not made his CPBL debut yet here in Taiwan. A guy who enters this start coming off of his 19th birthday in December, born on December 17th, 2005. And the first offering into Juan Diego Montes fouled back. And we are underway at 7:06 in the evening here local time in the final game of our opening stage of this 2025 qualifier.
Yeah, Tyler, look, we've talked about this a lot the last couple of days. We'll talk about more as this game goes on. But you mentioned the Premier 12, the success off of that, and fans anticipating them to roll through these qualifiers has not been the case. A big reason why is the fact that they are essentially auditioning, if you want to call it that, a completely different roster, a lot of young players, a lot of young names on this pitching staff. Yeah, it's been a bumpy road.
12-5 was the loss on opening night to Spain. Chinese Taipei did bounce back last night with a 9-1 win over South Africa. But even in that game, Ryan, there were definitely stretches where it felt like, oh, they're going to bust this thing open. And it didn't quite go that way. South Africa stayed in that game just like they did earlier today in their loss to Spain. Stayed in that game until the latter innings. They trailed it just 5-1 rather, in the sixth. As a bouncing ball out to short is bobbled by Yu Chang, and a leadoff error allows Juan Diego Montes to reach.
Yeah, you see that? Yu Chang, that little smirk. Very similar to Derek Jeter, Kobe Bryant, some of the best athletes in the world. When they make a mistake, it's like they're telling that 90 trillion cells everything's okay with that little smirk. But, you know, speaking of that too with this team, and you mentioned last night, and talked about getting that momentum build. Yeah, it's so tough, and everything's built off momentum in these quick tournaments. Anything can happen. It's about timing. In a situation like this, you want to play clean baseball, feel good about what you're going to do these next couple days, especially leading into Tuesday.
So with the leadoff man, Montes aboard, here is Brandon Layton. Montes 3 for 8, entering his first at-bat of the night. Layton is the same. These two guys have been spark plugs out of the top spots in the order for Nicaragua. But yeah, I mean, as Ryan noted, the storyline with Nicaragua has not been the offense. This team is hitting just 200 as a group, but right on cue, Brandon Layton shoots one into the alleyway. Montes got a great jump. He's around third base, and Juan Diego Montes scores on the RBI double by Brandon Layton to get things going for Nicaragua in the first.
And you see a shot of Yu Chang. Again, with this tournament style play, when you're talking about doing the little things right, not making errors, all of a sudden that routine ground ball to shortstops giving Brandon Layton a chance to drive someone in. He had a big home run yesterday for Nicaragua. Gapping this ball for a double to get that first run across the board.
That's a tough way to start it. This is an interesting night, Ryan, for this Chinese Taipei team, because they know that they will have to play again on Tuesday. They don't know their opponent yet. It'll depend on the results today, the final score of this game, but we know that one team will be moving on between Spain and Nicaragua to the 2026 World Baseball Classic after tonight. The other one will be in Tuesday's second, third place game. So for Chinese Taipei, this is a weird one, because obviously you want to win, you want to go into Tuesday with all the momentum, but there is not the same sense of urgency necessarily as, for example, if South Africa had won earlier today, Chinese Taipei could qualify automatically with a win tonight. But it puts you in a little bit different spot. Now, obviously, it's very easy to say, well, yeah, you just got to go out and win. That's the emphasis, and that is the emphasis and the focus for these guys. But mentally, there is something different about this game, knowing that you're going to get another crack on Tuesday. Chase Dawson out of the 3 spot takes the 1-1 off the plate outside.
And Tyler, how many times have we seen in this international play where, for example, Nicaragua, if you had come off a situation against Spain where you had lost that game with no offense, you're playing way tighter in this game right now, as opposed to feeling like you're in the driver's seat. You're 2-0. You have to be so concerned about your offense. And it just changes your mindset. It really does.
And you're going behind a 19-year-old on the pitcher's mound tonight. And for this coaching staff, Wepung Lin, the pitching coach on your screen a moment ago. This is a dicey start as a line drive single from Chase Dawson goes the other way. Layton's around third. He will score back-to-back RBI knocks following the error. And these fans anxious already coming into tonight. And now in first inning disbelief, it's 2-0 Nicaragua, already equaling their run output from each of their first 2 games in this qualifier. 3 batters into game 3.
Look at that approach too with Chase Dawson. 3-1 count. Usually your eyes light up. You try and do a little bit too much, get out in front of that pitch. But just shoot that ball into left center. Yeah, Tyler, we talk about hitting being contagious. We talk about momentum, talk about that vibe in the dugout. I'll tell you another thing as well. When you're a young pitcher, 19 years old, 20 years old, like some of these pitchers on this Chinese Taipei team, I've been there before where you're a younger member. The strike throwing ability and the attack ability, attacking hitters, having that confidence is contagious too. This young man, 19 years old, Sue's probably been sitting in the bullpen watching some of his teammates, and it can build in your head a little bit where you get away from that attack, you start nibbling, falling into these bad counts, and that's when the damage happens.
This is not the first time that we have seen Shu in this World Baseball Classic qualifier. He pitched in that opening night beatdown loss to Spain, that 12-5 stunner of a game. But starting is a different animal. Dawson's off from first. That ball tapped foul away by Elian Miranda. Dawson would have had that bag stolen pretty easily. Sandor Guido, the manager of this Nicaragua team. And what a great guy he is. Got a chance to talk with him prior to this game. Hao Ju-Tsung, the manager on the first base side for Chinese Taipei. We talked to him the other day. Two guys who enter this game in different stages of their team's growth. Young Chinese Taipei team that has looked like a young and nervy team at times. Here on their home field, 1-2 pitch is a called strike 3 at the knees. Another great strike 3 call from our home plate umpire here for the evening game, Iksu Kim.
Yamaguchi in the noon game was epic. Love it.
Elian Miranda is gone for the first out of the first inning.
It's a tough pitch, a little low. Let the memory bank next time you come up to hit.
So 1 away, and here is Benjamin Alegria. Alegria with the walk-off knock yesterday. Runner off from first. Dawson, another great jump and another foul ball that will spoil it. Alegria in a walk-off celebration that went viral across social media. He flipped his helmet to the sky, pounded his chest, was screaming and celebrating with his teammates, and then they all poured out of the first base dugout, and he was about a third of the way up the baseline, and they all started pointing like, hey, you still got to get to the first base bag, man, after he hit the walk-off knock over the head of Angel Beltre. Alegria, though, I mean, there is no better feeling on earth than a walk-off base hit. And when you get to do it for your country and celebrate with 27 of your friends, pretty awesome moment. A ball and a strike on him here. Alegria, member of the Leones de Leon, back home in Nicaragua, the same franchise that his manager, Sandor Guido, calls home. Just barely missed the zone. 2 balls and a strike. Got 91 miles an hour out of this young right-hander, Chang-Chung Shu.
Yeah, this ballpark is quiet right now.
Yeah.
Dawson bluffs, runs in tight. Oh, on the inside corner. So the count actually 3-2. That was a late strike call, but that is a, check that, 2-2 count now. Runner off, pitch away, throw to second, not in time. Chase Dawson got multiple great jumps off of first that were spoiled by the foul balls, but he nabs that bag pretty easily on Xiao Hung Jiang behind the plate.
Yeah, and good jump, and just too predictable pitching. Sometimes when you're trying to find the strike zone, trying to get that feel, you just completely forget about the runner at first. Chase Dawson taking advantage.
Full count now to Alegria. Already up over 20 pitches for Xu here in the first with just one out. Alegria lifts one to left. Xiao Weilin is there. 2 gone. That'll bring up the San Francisco Giants prospect, Elian Rayo. Rayo still in search of his first hit in this World Baseball Classic Qualifier, but he's laid down a couple of beautiful sacrifice bunts, something that he has never been asked to do in his professional career in minor league baseball, but certainly has shown the skill set. First pitch to him was ball 1.
Deflated feeling inside this dome. We've seen that more often than not over these last couple of days. Yeah, for Nicaragua, scoring the 2 run. I mean, 2 extra base hits as a team coming into this game. Last couple of days, not a whole lot of offense. Already put 2 runs up in this first inning. Again, if you these guys right here, Chinese Taipei, you don't want to limp your way to the finish line to Tuesday. You want to be firing, feeling good about where you're at.
Ground ball left side, diving stab over there by Nianting Wu, and the veteran puts out his counterpart at first. The defense comes through in the end, but it's the error that starts this inning, and Nicaragua capitalizes for 2. Headed to the bottom of the first inning, Nicaragua with 2, and Chinese Taipei coming up. Two runs of support for the left-hander Dilmer Mejia before he even gets to the pitcher's mound as we head into the bottom of the first inning on a Sunday night at the Taipei Dome. Our 6th of 7 games in the 2025 World Baseball Classic Qualifiers here in Taiwan. Tyler Mon, Ryan Roland Smith, Chinese Taipei trailing this thing right out of the gate. And Xiao Weilin will lead things off for his team against the lefty Dilmer Mejia. And Ryan, it is going to be interesting to see the way this crowd responds. Obviously, they're going to be loud early on, but muted in the first, and I think probably for a lot of these people, thinking back to Friday night when their team gave up 2 runs in the top of the first on the way to a 12-5 loss to Spain.
Yeah, and going back to that first night, again, we covered this yesterday, talking about it being a disaster in here. That was kind of the word they used to describe it. And you mentioned it too, the 2 runs that just kind of zapped the energy out of this building.
Jiawei Lin, the first man in to see Dilmer Mejia, fights one off third base side. Full count on it. Dilmer Mejia getting the nod in a big spot and already working up a sweat for his team here on this Sunday evening.
And for Mejia, it's been 7 years in minor league baseball. Put up some good numbers too. 453 innings across all different levels. Had a 3.4 career ERA in the United States. Never got to the big leagues. You see that fastball will be at 85 to 88. Change-up, little breaking ball as well.
Three-two pitch on the way from Mejia is a called strike 3 as it hums in over the outer part of the plate. And Jiawei Lin is gone for the first out of the first inning.
Freeze him right here. We talked about that upper 80s fastball. Nothing but this first at bat.
So now it brings in a guy who came in late in last night's game and put his stamp on it. Sung-Chen Lee, who belted a 2-run homer in the top half of the 9th inning on Chinese Taipei's way to a 9-1 win over South Africa. He also played some solid defense late in that game. His first start of this WBC qualifier. Mejia working from the extreme third base side of the rubber, and a liner out on a hop, knocked down at second base by Brandon Layton. 2 gone.
Yeah, you mentioned Sung-Chen Lee, the man we just saw just kind of found his way into the lineup after having some success last night. But very similar lineup besides Lee. The ad, you see the 2 veterans after him, Shei-Chen Chen, Yu Chang. Yeah. Wu, Chen, Wang after him, but very similar, like you said. This is kind of what we see. We saw this back in November as well. You have a big night, all of a sudden you might find yourself sneaking into that lineup the next day.
And here is the walking legend himself, Shei-Chen Chen. Really interesting baseball background for a guy who has been a CPBL MVP, was the MVP of the Premier 12 tournament back in November. He actually went to high school in Japan, and it was sort of his dream to play in Nippon professional baseball in Japan. He was not drafted out of high school, so he came back to Taiwan. Had some family circumstances that brought him back here as well. Played in a corporate league, which is not like a corporate softball league back in the United States, more like an industrial league or an independent minor league. And was drafted in the CPBL, and he has been in the conversation as the greatest Taiwanese player on the planet for years now. A 9-year pro here in Taiwan. Trying to check his swing there and able to. 3 balls and 2 strikes on him.
Yeah, we got a chance to watch him, a few months ago with our good friend JP Morosi. He was so high on Chen, talking about where would he get inserted into a major league lineup. And we got a chance to talk to him the first day we were here, and he was so gracious talking to all that media. That he spent time with us after that. I wanted to ask the question. First of all, I had to ask him about the at-bat against Togo, one of the best Japanese pitchers.
Ace of the Yomiuri Giants. That was back in the
big home run
championship game of Premier 12. Hit a 3-run homer to give his team the breathing room they needed on the way to the win.
You always wonder, guys like watching Chan, you always wonder, hey, look, was the United States ever in the back of your mind? Was it ever an option? But you mentioned the fact he went the Japan route in high school.
3-2 pitch, and off the plate for ball 4. He works a 2-out walk, and that is the type of at-bat, the type of plate appearance that you get from Jae-Shen Chun. And he's aboard with 2 gone here in the bottom of the 1st. And that will bring up the Minister of Defense himself, Yu Chang. Chang trying to atone for the error that started this inning by Yu Chang WBC standards. Been a little bit quiet in this classic. 2 for 9 to get it started. Now a 3rd hit on the first pitch he sees from Dilmer Mejia, and it's 1st and 2nd with 2 gone.
Charlie, we saw Yu Chang make that error at shortstop at the top of the 1st inning. Now, if this ball had found the gap in right center field, that would have been instant redemption in front of these 40,000. A good piece of hit. We've seen plenty of Yu Chang who did struggle in the big leagues. When you look at his numbers, you see him being a little bit more one-dimensional where he stays in left field. But good to see him drive that ball into right field tonight.
So here's a guy with some pop as well. Yenting Wu, 31-year-old from here in Taipei, and a guy who played, starting his professional career in Japan for the Saitama Seibu Lions. Drives one in the air, out to left. Nomar Mendoza there to squeeze it, and that'll do it for Chinese Taipei in the bottom of the 1st. The home team puts a couple of runners aboard, but leaves them there, and it's a 2-0 Nicaragua lead through 1. Two runs across on 2 hits in the top half of the 1st inning for Nicaragua, and the lone remaining unbeaten in the World Baseball Classic's Taipei qualifying group. Already a 2-0 lead as we move into the top half of the 2nd inning, and Xiang Cheng-Shu back out to work for Chinese Taipei. He is approaching 30 pitches, but anything between 30 and 80, you're gold, 30 and 50, I should say, you're golden today, because tomorrow a group-wide off day. Ryan's been planning his itinerary up at sunrise. He's going to be sightseeing the entire day. 202 bounded foul. But you can manage the pitching staff a little bit differently today, knowing that if you keep guys under that 50-pitch limit, they will be available for you on Tuesday, and that's something obviously that Hao Ju-sung would be very aware of today. Freddie Zamora, the Brewers prospect, takes the 2-1 pitch inside. I think the ideal circumstance for Hao Ju-sung, you'd love to get a win. You want to go into Tuesday on the right note. But maybe more than that, I think you want to be able to use your low leverage arms and get through this game without burning anybody who you really need on Tuesday.
And look, yeah, it's not like these guys had never gone back-to-back or, you know, thrown 25 and then have a day off, and they do it all the time. But let's not forget it's February.
Pop fly first base side and playable. And Postman Long puts it away. And this is what we're talking about. And Ryan, it just makes it such a day-to-day planning process for these coaching staffs, what these rest restrictions entail.
Yeah, and I think getting to this point, it's pretty crucial. Now you're at this point, like, all right, I kind of know my guys. I know if, you know, whoever it may be feels good about going 30 pitches, you can back it up. Some guys don't. And like I said right before, some more hit that ball up in the air. The fact that it's February, you got to remember that. So they're coming off an off season. They're not quite peaking like it's middle of June, where you used to go on back-to-back days. You get that hefty 40 pitches in, then you're asked to have a day off and go again. It's a little bit different.
Ronald Rivera, the catcher, 1 for 3 so far here in the qualifier. 1-1 is bounced wide of third, 1-2.
Yeah, spring training, when you're building up those 6 weeks, it's pretty regulated, and then you get to that point, you're about 2 weeks out, and then you'll see, if you're in the bullpen, you see you got your back-to-back schedule, you know, and it crushes you. You get to the morning after that second day, like, oh man.
Another pop-up, left side this time. Yen-Ting Wu, 2 gone.
Like, there's just that recovery curve, or just even psychologically getting your head around it too. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I'm talking about. I mean, these guys have just started their spring training.
It's kind of amazing, the focus so much on just this event and qualifying for the World Baseball Classic. I was talking with Yu Chang during batting practice prior to the game today, and I asked him, when's the Guardians opening day? He's a member of the Fubon Guardians in the CBBL, and he was like, I don't even know. I was like, I mean, first week of April, and he's like, I think it's like March 30th, but they have just been so locked in on this event, and especially somebody like Yu Chang, who had to pull out of that Premier 12 roster due to an injury, just so hyper-focused on making it through this qualifying round and getting onto the 2026 World Baseball Classic.
And for good reason, too, for him. He has some good memories of 2023. Especially, too, I mean, he got into the big leagues, and he was trying to become an established big leaguer, but he's having a bunch of struggles over there. And then we talked about the controversy coming back with some of the fans not happy with him because he turned it down initially.
2-1 is rocketed back through the middle, and a 2-out single for Omar Mendoza out of the 9 spot. Will send us back to the top of the order and Juan Diego Montes.
But there's such an emphasis for Chinese Taipei, Japan, Korea, this part of the world, when you're talking about representing your country. It takes precedent over, especially in the Olympics, takes precedent over your professional team. I remember 2004 playing against Japan, Daisuke Matsuzaka, Kenji Jojima, former teammate of mine, but they take time off during their regular season to go play in the Olympics because it takes it's a big priority for these countries.
That is the highest honor of a baseball career over on this side of the Pacific, is being selected for your national team. I mean, especially in Japan. Yeah. Samurai Japan Baseball, we've been lucky enough to do some events in Japan. It is, a borderline religion with how much they love that team. And to get that designation in your career, to have been selected for a Samurai Japan roster or a Chinese Taipei team or Korea's national team, I mean, that is a career-defining accolade.
So 2009, Ichiro Suzuki was the team captain for Samurai Japan. He missed the first week of the season. He was on the IL for the first time with a stomach ulcer because of the stress for playing with Team Japan.
0-2 pitch. Juan Diego Montes finds pay dirt with another trip to the base pass, reached on an error in the first inning, and he's on with a 2-out single behind Mendoza's hit. We're in the second.
He's starting to swing at the top of the lineup. The mustache. What's the nickname in Spanish? I'll leave that to you, Tyler.
It is.
Oh. You got to go back through your notes.
El Bigote.
There you go. Good job.
I was hoping that I also had hyphen written down. I forgot to write down the word for hyphen in Spanish. Don't worry, I'll figure it out.
It's L hyphen.
Guillon. That's what it was. El Guillon. But in order to refer to yourself as El Guillon, I think you have to grow a Juan Diego Montes-esque mustache.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Only then can you truly be.
I've never been a big facial hair guy.
Yeah, I feel like you could do a solid beard. First pitch on the way to Brandon Layton. There for a called strike one. Layton with the RBI double in the first inning, and he smoked that ball to left center field. Split the alleyway between Xiaowei Lin and Wenjie Chen. And the 19-year-old Shu, he's laboring a bit. He's coming up on 45 pitches. Next one will be his 45th.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to, essentially roll him out. You mentioned they're calling it the B squad, but the lower leverage arms out of that bullpen. Get through this game.
2-1. It's a tight zone tonight as well for Mik-Soo Kim. And I mean, it was such a low stress first couple of batters in this inning for Shu. The two infield pop outs, and now he's dealing with first and second and two gone. You know, we did that earlier as well, as we take a look at one of the big swings of this World Baseball Classic Qualifier for Nicaragua. This was yesterday against Spain. Brandon Layton, a rocket to left.
A little hanging slider, his eyes lit up. It's crucial too, 2-1 game. One win for Nicaragua.
One of the 4 runs that Nicaragua had scored in 20 combined innings coming into tonight. And they put up 2 here in the first inning, and they got 2 more out there on the base paths right now. But yeah, notice that you mentioned Xiao Chen-Shu almost balking. I noticed a little while ago as the pitch timer was getting low, he did the same thing, came to a set, didn't really pause, and went into the delivery. Here comes the 3-2, runners off with it, and a ground ball out to Yu Chang, who's got a clean chance this time and executes it. And that retires the side in the second. Nicaragua leaves a pair. Chinese Taipei back to the bat rack, trailing 2-0.
目前场上打击的是第6棒 ，the center fielder number 3陈文杰。
Center fielder 1J Chun will lead things off for Chinese Taipei in the bottom half of the second inning. It'll be Chun, then a scorching hot bat behind him. Po-Shun Wong, who gets the nod at first base today, 6 for 9 with a double so far, and a really nice start to this World Baseball Classic Qualifier. Then Xiaoheng Zhang, catcher out of the 8th spot. No balls and 2 strikes quickly on Chun. Jay Chun 1 for 7 in his start to the qualifier. He's 27 years old, out of Hualien County, a member of the TSG Hawks organization in the CPBL.
See Mejia sitting 86, 87 early in the count. And try and sneak in 89, 90 by you later in the count.
Fools Chun there.
A good changeup right there. Showing that little breaking ball, that changeup. You see the defense for Nicaragua. Pretty much similar defense we've seen Mendoza, Dawson, Montez in the outfield. Zamora at short, Leighton up the middle. And Ronald Rivera, the hero, the 10th inning hero of night 1, behind the dish. Didn't get the start, by the way. Kind of similar to Lee with Chinese Taipei, earning his way into this lineup.
Great looking breaking ball starts off Po-Shun Wong.
Got a little Nesta Cortez to him. Yeah, just waiting for the animated leg lift.
You know, the fans are into it, and obviously with the songs and the drums and the cheerleaders and everything else, the noise is there. But I will say, you can definitely feel the anxiety among this crowd tonight.
That's true.
Gave up 2 runs in the first inning on the way to being rocked by Spain on Friday night. They bounced back last night, went 2 runs across for Nicaragua here today. And the thing that's so tough for these fans is Chinese Taipei has never been in a more advantageous spot as a baseball team than coming into this event. Coming off a Premier 12 championship, they've had a ton of success at the youth levels, the U15, U18, U23 Baseball World Cups in recent years. And a lot of those players are on this roster, guys who have had experience at those World Cup events. 3-2, shot back through the middle, a single to center field for Po-Shun Wong, who is now batting a cool 700 here in the qualifier, and he's on with 1 out.
Yeah, that was a slider, just kind of hung up in the strike zone. Good piece of hitting too, being aggressive on that pitch. You see that approach from these Chinese Taipei hitters, kind of step in the bucket a little bit, but their weight's able to stay through the ball, keep that nice bat path. And they're so tough with 2 strikes.
So 1 out, 1 on. Xiaoheng Zhang takes strike 1. But, I mean, there is the chance that Chinese Taipei is going to go into this Tuesday second place game at 1-2. And if they were to drop that one and miss out on qualifying for the World Baseball Classic, I mean, first of all, it'll be the first time as a ground ball left side is speared on the dive by Elian Rayo, and the throw in time to get Po-Shun Wong. Great play by the San Francisco Giants prospect, and a nice job by Brandon Leighton to hold the bag at second.
We saw all those plays yesterday, Tyler, from this Nicaragua defense. And it just continues. And they don't allow any unbelievable play. Not only that, too, he hit that turf hard. Look at that. Little whiplash, staying with it. Usually in a situation like that, you rush your throw a little bit, or you bobble, you double clutch, trying to get a grip on the ball. Yeah, nice play. Get that lead running.
Sandro Guido asked me earlier today, he said, what do you think of our Nicaragua team? And I said, I mean, the way you guys play defense, and before it was even out of my mouth, he just started nodding.
Yep, that's one thing that we know how to do. Another liner out on a couple of hops to short Zamora to Leighton, inning over as Chinese Taipei goes scoreless once more. We go to the top of the third. Nicaragua's got the early lead. Nicaragua's manager, Sandor Guido, a budding legend in the baseball world in his own country, named the manager of the squad in January of 2023 after some success in the Pan Am Games. A guy who played a whole lot of national team ball in his own playing career as a terrific first baseman. And it was interesting talking with Guido prior to the game today. He said, you know, our guys, we don't lack talent. What we need to work on more in Nicaragua is the discipline of doing the extra work to reach pro ball, to stay in pro ball, to reach the big leagues. He said, you know, for me, I tried to work as hard as I could. It didn't happen for me, but I know that there are guys who have that ceiling and they just need that element of, all right, I have to work 10 times as hard as anybody else to get myself into the position of being a professional ball player, being a major leaguer, beyond just the borders of your own league. Leadoff man for Nicaragua here in the top half of the third inning is Chase Dawson, and he's going against a new arm into the game, and it's another young guy, Yohung Chen, who is another 19-year-old. He was the starter in the opening game of this event for Chinese Taipei back on Friday night. Did not fare well in that game. An inning, 3 hits, 2 runs against Spain. Dawson skies one to very shallow center. One away.
Yeah, I found it interesting. Yeah, he said that about the discipline and the working hard. Yeah, because you think about it, right? It's a situation, you get an opportunity to play in the United States, play at a high level. You come from Nicaragua. I know this with coming from Australia, you just don't take any opportunity for granted. You know, you appreciate the opportunity and you just have that hunger about you because you kind of glass half empty the minute you step into the United States. There is no plan B, and you feel like that would be the case. I found that interesting he said that.
I learned something else about Sandor Guido today, which is that in his, I guess you'd call it a day job, he's not coaching and winning in Nicaraguan League championships with the Leones de Leon. He is a dentist.
It's amazing.
You know, working a regular job is one thing. That's serious work.
It is.
0-2 pitch. Shot out to short. Yu Chang makes the play. And I mentioned to him, I said, you know, the Czech Republic, when they were the darlings of the World Baseball Classic a couple years ago, we learned that Pavel Hadim, their manager, is a neurological doctor in the Czech Republic. He's a brain surgeon. I did not get those mental genes getting into baseball. Trying to get some work in this sport, and also, if it doesn't work out, maybe I can do some incredible medical work. No balls and a strike. The 0-1. Alegria to first. What a catch by Pochuan Wong. Hitting 700 at the plate. Making some sparkling plays in the field. I think Alegria was trying to catch his eye to give him a little tip of the cap. Final out of the inning. And retired in order. Nicaragua gone 3 up, 3 down for the first time. We're headed to the bottom of the third. Bottom of the third inning, 3 up, 3 down. Nicaragua gone in order for the first time today, and maybe the defense sparking the offense is what Chinese Taipei needs. Although on the first pitch of the bottom of the third, a liner out to short where Freddie Zamora had Chao Wei Lin play perfectly, and leadoff man is gone on one offering.
He's hit some good swings just right at people.
Freddie Zamora, the former Miami Hurricane, the Milwaukee Brewers draft pick and prospect. Chen Lee out of the 2 spot.
Yeah, Charlie, you get that feeling. Yeah, Sue going close to 50 pitches. And then Yuhang Chen, who started the game the first night, gave up the 2 spot to Team Spain. Everyone's a little surprised with him starting. We talked to good friend who's a Mariners scout who follows this team very closely. He was kind of shocked to see Chen start in that game. You see him from that last inning.
You know what else is interesting too? The pitcher who we anticipated would start that game, as you look back at the big shot last night in the 9th inning from Chen Lee, the starting pitcher that we anticipated for night number 1 against Spain was Roshi Shu, who was not a late scratch. It was about 24 hours before the game when Chinese Taipei announced that he would not start that game, and instead it would be tonight's starter, tonight's reliever, I should say, Yuhang Chen. And there is still some mystery as another ground ball back up towards Zamora. A pick, a spin, a throw, and another dazzling play. 2 gone.
I mean, Nicaragua, this is looking automatic. This defense, that's really been the difference factor. We're up 2-0.
How about the Jordan 1 spikes, by the way?
Yeah, I was just about to say.
That's the Freddie Zamora. It really, I mean, we hear so often, it's such a baseball cliche that hitting is contagious, offense is contagious. This is like the first defense is contagious instance that we have seen in the Classic. Now here's the captain, Chishen Chen, that walked in the first inning. He was stranded at second. But just to close the point on Roshi Shu, the fact that he was not the starter, there has been a little bit of mystery as another grounder to a perfectly placed Zamora. And 3 up, 3 down, all of it Freddie Zamora's way. And that'll take us to the top half of the 4th inning. Nicaragua's got a 2-0 lead over Chinese Taipei on a Sunday night in the Taipei Dome. Two to nothing, Nicaragua out in front of Chinese Taipei, Taiwan's home team. Some Taiwanese baseball legends in the house as the home team is trying to get the offense going yet again. That has been a common theme in this World Baseball Classic Qualifier.
Now, we just saw someone pop up on the screen. We've seen here in the broadcast booth. We don't know his name. We know he's a Taiwanese legend. Just admit it. The minute because he's so nice, he comes and says, "What's up?" And
so
he's built.
great.
Yeah, he's built.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, he's as big as you are.
Yeah,
he's.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm not trying to.
He's
but yeah,
tall.
Yeah,
you know, he's
and
a
you
large.
can tell. Yeah, you can tell he's someone because everyone like freaks out when he walks past. He's like the nicest guy ever. We just don't know his name.
This is it's
We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna talk to our boy Boston.
Yeah, we gotta ask Boston.
I think get a photo with him or something because he's big time around here.
Yeah. I want to say like the all-time wins leader.
It's something. Yeah, it's something like
this. Really is like a Seinfeld script where it's like we just see this guy every day. Yeah. We're like, hey man, legendary career. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. Somebody's gonna tweet at us or
I hope surely.
Yeah, we'll get something. Leadoff fly out there from the first man into the batter's box against Yuang Chen. That was Elian Rayo and Freddie Zamora. He of the big workload in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Zamora swings through the 0-1. It's 0-2. Just finally trying to wrap up and put the finishing storyline because it is something that will come back potentially on Tuesday. There is a lot of speculation as to what the issue is with Roshi Shu that prevented him from starting that game for Chinese Taipei on Friday. We still have not seen him. He is a very, very highly regarded pitching talent. He's a member of the Weishuan Dragons in the CPBL and a guy with a live arm, a lot of potential. I mean, we talked with scouts who were here specifically to see him on Friday, and then he didn't end up pitching. They thought, well, maybe this is an opener situation. Maybe Chen's going to start for the first, then we'll see. Shoot, that did not manifest. So there is a possibility that he pitches on Tuesday, and all this was smoke and mirrors to cover some tracks and have him ready to go for a do-or-die game coming up on Tuesday. But there's been a lot of questions around that situation. And so it's something to keep in mind, as we know Chinese Taipei will play in that second and third place game on Tuesday. Zamora dispatched on a called strike 3, 2 gone.
I'll tell you what, Yuhang Chen looks much better, much tighter on these pitches, especially from that arm slot. That slider of his looks really sharp, much better than what we saw that first night. We're going to see essentially maybe a pitching change right here. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we might see Roshi Shu on that Tuesday. I'm sure we're going to see Wei Yin Lin, Ryu Chen, a couple of studs playing in the United States.
And a pitching change here in the fourth. It's Wei Peng Lin, the pitching coach, to make the change. Chinese Taipei goes to the bullpen. Well, an unexpected call to the bullpen as we move along in the top of the fourth inning. The guy that we just spent the last inning talking about is the one into the game for Chinese Taipei. The very promising young right-hander Roshi Su takes over on the pitcher's mound, and his first pitch draws oohs and ahs from the crowd as it comes in at 96 miles per hour, and he blows the 1-0 by Ronald Rivera, and it's 1-1. And we're 2 pitches in, and you can see the electricity behind this young right-handed prospect.
Yeah, the crowd is reacting too, big time.
He came out of the dugout, and you and I were talking and, you know, trying to get stuff set for the next half inning, and then all of a sudden the crowd erupted, and we looked up and then looked at the video board and saw that it was him. This is a really anticipated debut on this Chinese Taipei squad, and it is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, for good reason too. You see 96, 97 with movement, potentially touching triple digits at some point. Now that wouldn't mean to speculate here, Tyler.
Line back to the glove, and Shu makes the catch, and the inning is over.
Do you get that feeling? This could just be a quick little outing, get him ready, see if he's good to go for Tuesday.
Feeling all right to the one man he faces, and we head into the bottom of the fourth in a 2-0 game. Well, if you are the manager of this Chinese Taipei team, Hao Ju-tsung, and you made the move to the bullpen, you brought out the most hotly anticipated young prospect potentially in Taiwanese baseball in Joshi Shu, and he gave you one electric hitter, and that's what sparks your offense. I think you would take that 100 times out of 100 because this ballpark feels completely re-energized.
Right.
And as we head into the bottom of the fourth inning, it is the middle third of the lineup for Chinese Taipei. And Yu Chang will roll one over to his counterpart at short, and he will beat out the throw at first.
Yeah, Miranda looking in to see maybe get a second look at it. Yeah, what those Zamora has been so good already in this game. Yeah, it looks like he'll be tough to overturn.
Nicaragua has requested a review on this. Now remember, the ball has to be from that angle. That may be an out. The ball has to be all the way into the glove. But the call on the field was safe. Nicaragua on the challenge. You're going to look at Ty Krause and Ben Phillips. Our corner infield umpires. You can hear the crowd chanting safe. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one either way. But I think that ball is into the heel of the glove of Elian Miranda. That's a good stretch by Miranda.
Yeah, good pick.
Chang hoping over at first, and he'll be allowed to stay there. Review is taking a little bit, which you're always trying to read the tea leaves. Well, if it's a longer review, what does that mean? Does that potentially mean the call on the field is going to stand? Never really seems to mean anything one way or the other, but we await the call. Yu Chang posts up over at first next to Elian Miranda. Yu Chang committed an error in the field in the top of the first inning that sort of opened the door to the 2 runs for Nicaragua. And now trying to get his offense started by beating out a play at first potentially. Certainly the longest review that we have had here in this qualifier, trying to get this one right.
Yeah,
at that angle, it's real close.
Yeah, and the tough part is to where the ball's at in the glove. You know?
Right.
It's not a situation, you want to make sure that ball is trapped in the glove before that foot lands, especially trying to overturn one. That's why it's taking so long. Get that better, a little bit of a better angle right here. I think they're going to overturn this time. What do you think?
Oh, no, they did not. Yu Chang safe at first. That, I believe, would fall under the category of inconclusive evidence to overturn that call. Absolutely. So Yu Chang brings this crowd quite literally to its feet. Everybody standing up after a leadoff single in the 4th inning. And that'll bring up Nianting Wu. Flew out to left field in his first trip to the plate back in the 1st inning, and takes ball 1 outside.
Todd, just going back to Roshi Shu, the pitcher we saw. Now, look, we heard about him potentially pitching in the first game. We didn't see it. They were speculating a ton. Is there an injury? Because they're all hush-hush. This Taiwanese team, the coaching staff wouldn't tell us anything, and I get it. I totally understand that. But a situation... see the reaction from this Nicaraguan team, but again, pure speculation. You feel like, hey, just get out there, see how you feel. There could have been maybe like, you know, a little tweak in his elbow, shoulder, ankle, whatever it could have been. Go out and throw a little bit, see how you go with adrenaline. front of this crowd. If you're good to go, give us the nod. We'll see him again on Tuesday.
Man, talk about adrenaline. I mean, the way he came off the mound, snared that line drive, screaming, fired up with his teammates. Pretty cool to see. Yenting Wu fans hoping their guy can come through here. Ryan, you've made a point a couple of times over the last few days about offenses in this tournament, and I feel like it really applies here. For Chinese Taipei, yes, you would love a two-run homer here. You would love to tie it up. But what really feels like it would serve Chinese Taipei best right now is building an inning, being able to string base runners along, because in an environment like this, you draw out more of this noise, more of this energy. That wears down your opponent, especially opposing pitching staffs. 2-2, Wu to center. It's in the glove of Chase Dawson, who got a great jump reading it off the bat, and he snares it for the first out.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the quality of pitches too from Mejia, who's pretty sharp. And he was mixing in 3 different pitches for strikes. You're starting to see the quality start to fade because, again, that energy from that 10th man, the crowd right now, the drums, the chants, trumpets in the middle of when you're trying to deliver a pitch.
Man, Chase Dawson, that was a great read. If you have one stutter step, you're going to risk that ball getting down. And as we saw last night, something gets down and gets past you, players can run forever.
Look at shoe right here. Fired up. Little reaction catch. You have that feeling, right? You're going to see him play a big role on Tuesday. But just, yeah, back to the outfield. We've seen a ton of hesitation in the outfield the entire time we've been here.
That was Po Yu Chun, the player who had his hands on the shoulders of his teammate Shu. Those two guys know each other really, really well. They're just about a year apart. They've kind of grown up in this Taiwanese baseball community together. And man, the energy in that dugout when he came off the field, it is very different right now than what we saw through the first 3 innings of this game. And it is 2 balls and no strikes on 1J Chun. Ryan, it is so loud right now in this ballpark. There are these projected advertisements and rotating graphics on the big wall up above the seating sections and the suites in the outfield. And the projected ads are shaking right now as a flare to right field is down for a base hit. 1J Chun, and it's first and second with 1 gone in the bottom of the 4th.
It's exactly what you're talking about, Tyler, is stringing these hits together, getting those 2-0 counts. We're starting to see from Mejia. It's that momentum effect. Just too easy, giving those hands inside that ball. 2-0 fastball, about 87 miles an hour. Chinese Taipei starting to feel it. It's taken them a couple days to get that. You want Spain. It's going to be Chinese Taipei and Spain on Tuesday. They're going to have their hands full.
And man, I mean, the thing that it feels like right now is that 40,000 people simultaneously realize, hey, it's a 2-0 game. We're right in this thing. And this crowd trying to pour all of this energy into their hottest hitter, Po Shun Wang. 7 for 10 to start this World Baseball Classic Qualifier for the 24-year-old out of Taiyuan City. The TSG Hawks infielder starting at first base here tonight. Hitters count 3-0 now. And you called it a second ago. You can really see how the dynamic is changing for Dilmer Mejia.
I'm swinging right now. I'm giving him the green light. Get a fastball middle of the plate.
And strike 1. They'll give Wang the ideal hitter's count. Remember, there still exists a very possible and somewhat likely scenario that Nicaragua loses this game and is still the team that wins the group and moves on after tonight. And the 3-1 is ball 4. They are loaded up for Xiao Hongzheng, the catcher, out of the 8th spot.
Yeah, but he is completely derailed Right now, that command has just eluded him. Feeling a different energy in this building. Here comes the hook.
Sandor Guido from the third base dugout is going to go signal for a new arm to enter this game, as this electrified crowd and the Chinese Taipei offense starting to build something in the bottom of the fourth. 2-0 Nicaragua leading. Right-hander Osman Gutierrez will take over on the pitcher's mound for Nicaragua. The 30-year-old out of Leon, a member of the Gigantes de Rivas in the Nicaraguan League. And his first pitch is up and in to Xiaoheng Zhang. He enters a real dicey situation. Bases loaded, one out, and an electrified crowd at the Taipei Dome, trying to get their team on the board in the bottom of the fourth. 2-0.
You see Osman Gutierrez has had some success in the World Baseball Classic in 2023. Pitched against Team Israel and also pitched against Team Venezuela. They face Altuve, Luis Ariz, Ronald Acuna Jr. They call that the gauntlet.
2-0, skied on the infield. That is worst case scenario for Chinese Taipei, as that ball falls into the glove of Elian Rayo. 2 gone, and everybody holds.
That's a big out right there. Just a couple pitches to get it done. That crucial second out.
So now the task falls to the 9-hole hitter. Cheng Wei Sung will put himself on the highlight reels all across the baseball world last night with his inside the park homer against South Africa. Spoils one to make it 1-1, and here it was.
Yeah, look at this. And again, Bouillon out of right field from South Africa playing on that turf. You're going to be very sure that you can keep that ball in front of you. You see how that ball skipped by him. He was off to the races.
Slightly open stance for the right-handed hitting Chinese Taipei right fielder, and the count goes to 1-2 on him. He wanted that one. One ball and 2 strikes. This crowd desperate to see this team getting the offense revving. One, two. Just misses, and it's 2-2.
It's out in Sandro Guida. This is exactly what you need, Tyler. Energy starts to pick up, momentum starts to shift. You're up 2-0. Mejia starts to stumble. You got Osman Gutierrez coming in, just pumping strikes.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Third base, Yu Chang. Second base, 1J Chun. First base, Po-Shun Wong. 2-2. We'll do it again.
And speaking of Osman Gutierrez coming out of the bullpen, we've talked about this a few times when we've covered games over here in Taiwan or in Japan. The bullpens are underneath, essentially behind the dugout. It is different, man. When you're used to being out in left center field in the bullpen, you feel the atmosphere and you can kind of get you part of that prep, or you're down the line or whatever. Coming out of that bullpen, man, it can be tough walking into 40,000.
Another 2-2 swing and a miss. Osman Gutierrez gets out of the jam by retiring Jong and Sung, and we are headed to the 5th. Nicaragua still in the lead, 2-0 over Chinese Taipei. Right-hander Young Chen Liu will take over on the pitcher's mound for Chinese Taipei in a now muted Taipei Dome, relatively speaking. Omar Mendoza to lead off against him. Chinese Taipei loaded the bases with 1 out, trailing this game by 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. They get nothing as Osman Gutierrez is able to clean up the jam left by Dilmer Mejia.
Look at Young Chen Liu. Just a couple of days ago, 2 innings, gave up 2 runs, 4 hits. You felt like they were about to put up a 5 spot, this Chinese Taipei team. Osman Gutierrez, great job coming in, just filling up the strike zone.
Way up and in on Mendoza, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a moment ago, that look into the Chinese Taipei dugout, that was Roshi Shu, who we anticipate now we may very well see as Chinese Taipei starter coming up on Tuesday. A check swing is a called swing and a strike 3 on Omar Mendoza.
Yeah, this is tough right here. He goes up and in. And you can see his catcher, Chang, kind of point to him as if to say, hey, that's what we're looking to do. I mean, he was way up and in, and he just snaps off that little breaking ball.
That wasn't
freezes Mendoza.
Wasn't even a called swing. That was just a called strike 3. That pitch was Beautifully placed. We go back to the top of the order of Juan Diego Montes, who is 2 for 2. One thing I love about these international events is that as Montes served one out to right and starting a little bit deeper toward the line, Cheng Wei Sung is able to come in and cut that off. 2 outs. Even in a sea of 35,000 plus fans going crazy for this Chinese Taipei team, there's always going to be one Vamos Nicaragua. There's always one, at least one loud voice behind that visiting dugout. You hear that? One fan in the crowd mic on the third base side. Brandon Layton takes a strike.
Tell you what, Tyler, these pitches are way sharper. The guys who threw that first night against Spain. Way sharper tonight than what we saw that first night.
Shot to left field, a base hit on a rope from Brandon Layton, who's got his second knock of the night. And the small Nicaragua contingent, another reason to be excited. They got a 2-out base runner in the 5th.
He's been raking. Slider sits up in the strikes, and he's doing some damage to that. Yeah, there it is.
First pitch fastball in tight on Chase Dawson, about 90 miles an hour. A ball and no strikes. Young Chen Lu, Rakuten Monkeys.
You know, the other thing too, you know, when you're at games here in Taiwan, I guess even you can say this about Japan. I've never experienced games in Korea, but there's no heckling. Yeah, the fans are very respectful. They love baseball. And the other thing too, you make a good play, you'll still get that applause even if you're the visiting team.
Even we've seen over the last few days, if you hit a home run in batting practice, you get a round of applause, which is pretty fun. No matter who you're hitting for, you get a round of applause. And they watch batting practice in this very odd manner. I mean, when somebody is just crushing in the cage, you get tons of oohs and ahs. I mean, they're locked in on batting practice, which is really cool.
You a big heckler, Tyler, growing up, going to games? You and your buddies?
Only for Australian left-handers.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I couldn't handle it. No, well, first of all, I could never really afford seats that were close enough to heckle. But yeah, I mean, I think we probably went after some people. I do remember in the 2007 National League Championship Series, Game 4. I'm a born and raised Denver, Colorado native, and our family, we had Colorado Rockies season tickets in the summer of 2007, the year I graduated college. The Rockies made their lone run to the World Series, and I remember in Game 4 of the NLCS, Eric Burns had come out after Game 2. Eric Burns, then on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he said, you know, I also don't think the Rockies have outplayed us or are better than us, not even close. And so, of course, we just wore out Eric Burns in left field behind him. And one of my baseball fan memories, as Elian Miranda lifts one foul, is Eric Burns late in that game. The Rockies are leading in Game 4. They're on the way to clinching. Eric Burns, who ended up grounding out as the final out of the game in the top of the 9th inning, he came out to left field after, I think, striking out late in that game, and people are just chanting at Eric Burns, wearing him out. And I climbed up onto a bleacher, and he was 0 for 4 at that point. I just put a big O over my head. And Eric Burns looked up at me, made straight eye contact with me, and hit me with the shrug like, you got me. And that forever, I was like, all right, I like Eric Burns now. Like that, to acknowledge it, and yep, you know, I wish I had a hit tonight too. Pretty great. That's there for a strike. Count 1 and 2. Elian Miranda.
Yeah, you got called out on strikes with that fastball down. He kind of did the same gesture. Maybe Iksu Kim doesn't like that. That strikes him a little bit bigger.
2 balls and 2 strikes. It's kind of interesting. I mean, Nicaragua leading in this game 2-0, but they have been a bit frustrated. They had the review that did not result in an overturned call as Yu Chang legged out that infield single. They have gotten a bit frustrated at times. It seems like with the strike zone, they're the team in the lead, but they've been somewhat contentious with the umpiring tonight.
Miranda, he's so animated too. You watch him down at first base with some of the base runners. Umpire down. First base umpire, I've seen this the last couple nights.
Called strike 3 as the 2-2 snaps over the inside corner. And Elian Miranda not happy as he heads back to the third base dugout. But Nicaragua will strand a pair of 2-out base runners, and we move into the bottom of the 5th. It's a 2-0 Nicaragua lead. Locked in a good one on a Sunday night at the Taipei Dome. It's the top third of the order for Chinese Taipei, and a first pitch base hit. Xiao Wei-lin wastes no time going to work against Osman Gutierrez, and the leadoff man is on in the bottom of 5.
Yeah, ambushing that fastball. Osman Gutierrez has been in the strike zone since he's coming into this ball game. Fastball up in the strike zone, jumping all over it.
Chinese Taipei a lot more confident looking at the plate over the last couple of innings offensively. A 2-0 game, and Sung Chen Lee potentially looking to sacrifice his man to scoring position. The bat back there successfully.
That pitch is pretty good. Regardless of the swing.
1-0 stays high on it. Before we get too deep into this inning, and Chinese Taipei might get something going, score some runs, get into this game, just a moment for a Tyler Bond observation.
Here we go.
Nicaragua.
Deep cut,
Nicaragua having road gray pants, big fan. Big fan of the road gray pants. We see so often in these international tournaments, get another look at Elian Miranda, who is kind of frustrated with the strike zone last half inning. So often we just see the white pants. Yeah. And sometimes we'll get a home white and a colored alternate jersey. But having the road grays, big ups to Nicaragua and the road grays.
That is definitely a Tyler Munn observation. That's up there.
Check swing strike.
Besides the projection, advertising, and everything else. Osman Gutierrez going right back to work, getting the red-hot lead. But I got to say, the Nicaragua, first of all, J.C. Ramirez in that dugout in the background there with that white sleeve jacket, I like that.
Oh man, those are terrific.
I will say the uniform since the qualifiers and since the WBC in 2023, big facelift. The hat logo at the end, nice little upgrade to the end. It was pretty generic end a couple years ago. I like the white uni, to be honest with you. But
yeah. Chen goes after the 0-1, drives it the other way. That'll slice into the seats.
Do you have a favorite uni, World Baseball Classic uniform? You're excited to see 2026?
You know, when Cuba goes with the all red, man, Elian Miranda still giving it,
still going
to this umpiring crew, and specifically home plate umpire Ik-Soo Kim, after he was the last out on the called strike 3 in the top half of this inning. Good pitch coming up here. Chen able to foul it off. All time when Cuba rocks the red pants, the red jersey, the red pants. I mean, and I'm not like that's a very unorthodox baseball look. I think that's why I love it, because I remember watching international baseball as a kid and thinking, wait a minute, you can wear red pants? What? Those ones, that'll always stick out for me. 0-2 pitch.
Well, they used to rock, I remember playing against Cuba, and those years I played international games, and they used to rock the red tracksuit to go with it.
Oh yeah.
They'd rock up to the ballpark, red tracksuit, and they'd slide into the red unis. Walk around that Olympic Village and all red, like, oh, there's the boys. Spotted from a mile away.
No balls and 2 strikes, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'm pretty disappointed, by the way, after that question, Tyler.
You know, I will say, I don't want to give you the satisfaction, obviously, but there are very few teams with a look as good as Australia.
Thank you.
There are very few.
I appreciate it. Green and gold.
The green and gold. Although so is South Africa. That's a confusing visual matchup, and when we can get South Africa versus Australia games, uni-wise.
Yes, that's true.
A lot of green and gold. Ball and 2 strikes. Chen takes it away. I will say my favorite of a more recent vintage, the Netherlands upgrade. The unis that they rock these days are incredible. The Netherlands cap from the 2023 Classic with the orange crown on the front.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's the best lid in the WBC to me. 2-2 down and in. Snap throw back into first, but Chow Wei Lin, who danced off on the pitch, is back in.
I mean, if anyone's listening from Australia, I apologize. Yes, the green and gold, yes. But you can't go past the Stars and Stripes, Team USA. The logo, like the logo, the USA across the chest, the Stars and Stripes. You see some of the swag with the stars on the leg guards and the elbow guards. Come on.
I'm gonna say this. I might get dragged for it. They need an overhaul.
Wow, Tyler.
Real bad. I think the USA Baseball look is a little dated.
Interesting.
It's a little dated.
I love it. I mean, if you're on social media, you want to hit us up and let us know your thoughts.
Please do.
Please.
I mean, don't get too mad at me for that.
Please don't pile on Tyler and Mike. Yes.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Chen. And a swing and a pop left side. Chow Wei Lin was nearly all the way to the second base bag and has to retreat. Got to be pretty good buddies with USA Baseball communications guy Josh Spitz at Premier 12 in November, guaranteeing I'm going to get a text.
You should.
He might be awake already, but tuning in and saying, wait a minute, what?
I'm trying to score some followers here by saying Stars and Stripes. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's just such a good look, man. I mean, it's epic.
So 2 gone now. We're going to visit the mound from Len Picota, the pitching coach for Nicaragua. As a southpaw works in the Nicaragua bullpen. That is Leonardo Crawford. Don't ask me the origin behind the bespectacled mascot. I don't know. I don't have that story. I would like to get that story, but I don't have that story. Yu Chang bats here with 2 outs and a check swing roller. Right back to Osman Gutierrez, and an easy play at first for Nicaragua's relief man. And this Nicaragua pitching staff continues to dominate, and it's a 2-0 lead going to the 6th.
All
right, so we're talking good baseball uniforms. Well, I mean, you put anything on this guy, it's going to look good, obviously. But the home whites,
I mean, look at that hat
Australian
logo. Come on, you
national
can't get
team.
past
The hat logo is amazing.
The Southern Cross, by the way, the stars. I have that tattooed on my back with the Olympic rings, if you didn't know that, Tyler. But yeah, that's the Southern Cross. It's a constellation of stars you can see from Australia. Pretty iconic.
That's what's on the flag as well.
But listen, I'm hoping you copy it on social media right now. I mean, you're talking Paul Goldschmidt walking up in the Stars and Stripes looking like Captain America. Yeah, if that's 60 feet away from me, I'm backing off the mound. I'm like, whoa, that's intimidating.
Here's a question. The whole, it's called the Stars and Stripes. Why do they not have pinstripe unis? I mean, come on, you could be so much more creative with the USA Baseball.
Interesting.
What I find fascinating is, like, you look at USA Basketball or US Soccer, they go through these different iterations. Ground ball back up the middle. The leadoff man, Benjamin Alegria, is aboard. He's got his first hit of the day. USA Baseball has had the same look for quite some time. You go back to the '96 Atlanta Olympics. I believe that's when they rolled out this visual brand. I just think it could be refreshed. Yeah. Everything's an instant classic like Australia, okay? Just because you got the perfect look there with the gorgeous color scheme and the great logo. I do love those hats, though. I mean, I love everything about the Australia visual package for international baseball, except for the picture of you, obviously. First pitches there to Elian Rayo. It's 0-1. I also noticed that there was a highlight that we played of you from an Australia game, I believe in the 2017 in the main classic, in vests. And I didn't think, or maybe it was just a vet. Was it just a jersey with green sleeves?
Yes. Okay. It was all the uniforms were uniformed across the World Baseball Classic 2017. So you had that granite gray, which I'm not opposed to either. And yeah, the Team USA had that.
Right.
I believe you call it granite gray.
The dark gray unis.
Yeah, and they had the sleeves. Everyone had the same unis.
Forgot about that. It was an odd little half pickoff attempt there by Young Chen Liu, who just kind of lobbed that thing over in the direction of first base. And I think Xiao Hung Zhang is doing that thing where somebody makes a really weird turn when you're riding in the car with them and they stomp on the brakes and turn and you go, you all right? Po Yu Chen on the right side of your screen. The Pittsburgh Pirates prospect, and a guy who got some good work on the mound yesterday. We're taking the video feed from the local crew here in Taiwan. I believe that's Po Yu-chun's father who is in the house tonight. Chun, it was so cool seeing how excited Po Yu-chun was to see Roshi Shu out there when Shu got back into the dugout, and those two were fired up to see each other. This is the next generation of Taiwanese baseball stars on this WBC qualifying team. 1-2 pitch is off the plate. No, all on the outside corner. A called strike 3. And one gone here in the 6th.
Again, this pitching stuff, this young pitching stuff, looking much better tonight.
So with one gone, it brings up Freddie Zamora. Zamora 0-for-2 with a strikeout here tonight, the former Miami Hurricane, Milwaukee Brewers prospect, guy who's reached as high as AAA Nashville and the Brewers organization. Pitch just misses to him. 1-0. I will say, for the first time this week, I agree with you that it's a little chilly in the booth tonight. It's only been in the low 60s outside. It was really rainy today. We left the hotel. It was pouring rain this morning when we headed here to the ballpark. Between games, we went out, got some coffee, came back. It had stopped raining, but it's been that kind of grayish week here in Taipei. But inside the dome, a perfect night as always. Pitch on the way to Zamora, runner moving, and a late jump. Throw to second is off of Benjamin Alegria. It springs into right, and scampering to third. Alegria is one station away now with one out.
That had him too. That throw beat him to second base. Get another look at it. Got a late jump. This is a hit and run. Oh, you can see Lee just kind of taking his eye off that ball. Alegria in his peripheral vision.
Yeah, I thought that hit Alegria's front leg. That hit the glove of Lee at second. So it goes as a stolen base and an error charged to Xiaoheng Zhang. And now you go from a circumstance where a ground ball gets you out of the inning potentially to instead having to bring the infield in. With a 1-2 count on Zamora. 2-2, and a great job there by Xiaoheng Zhang to save a run by diving to keep that close.
These catches are so animated too. You pay attention. These Chinese Taipei's, a couple of guys behind the dish, they're jumping around back there. They're flashing the glove.
3 balls and 2 strikes now on Freddie Zamora. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Nicaragua. No runs, 5 hits, 2 errors now for Chinese Taipei. The first one was on the first batter of the game. Juan Diego Montes reached on an error charge to Yu Chang. He later scored an unearned run. 3-2, and a liner to center field is going to be enough to get another run in. Tagging at third, Alegria scores on the sacrifice fly by Freddie Zamora, and it is a 3-0 Nicaragua lead as they close in potentially on a 2026 World Baseball Classic berth.
Yeah, good piece of hitting too. You're just trying to stay up the middle with 2 strikes. The thing was too, I mean, a little bit of effectively wild. That's what you're up against, but just doing enough to drive that run in.
Sacrifice fly for Zamora. And with 2 outs and the bases empty, I mean, how big is that error right now? 2 unearned runs as it stands at this stage. Of the 3 that Nicaragua has scored, for Nicaragua, it is a very simple equation. You win tonight, you are the winner of this group, and you are on as the unbeaten 3-0 winner to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Nicaragua, of course, lost just 1 game in the qualifier in 2022. Now they went winless in the main tournament, 0-4, and struggled offensively. They have struggled offensively to a degree here in Taiwan as well, but this pitching staff has been unreal. Chen Lu trying to get his team in the dugout, won't do it on this pitch. Laced out toward right center field, cut off out there by Chung Rui Sung, who did a great job angling to that ball, and he will hold Rivera to a 2-out single. I mean, you can hear a pin drop in this stadium.
Yeah, so just another fastball left out over the plate, and you can see Chung behind the dish. If you're paying attention, some of the non-verbals towards his pitch, I'm telling you, would not fly over in the United States, especially in professional baseball. That'll do it.
Pitching change here as Weipeng Lin will go out to get his reliever, and Chinese Taipei goes to the bullpen once more. 3-0, Nicaragua with the lead. Bo-Hao Chun will take over on the pitcher's mound for Chinese Taipei as we roll along here in the top half of the 6th inning. 3 runs on 7 hits to this point in this game for Nicaragua, a squad that is closing in now on a World Baseball Classic berth in 2026. If they can hang on to this lead the rest of the way. A foul pop. Nope, that'll stay in fair territory, and it'll be the final out of the inning as Omar Mendoza is retired by Bo-Hao Chun. But another run in the 6th, and Nicaragua in control on a Sunday night. It would not be a World Baseball Classic broadcast if not for a forced uniform conversation that Ryan Roland Smith has to put up with, talking about some of the best uniforms in World Baseball Classic history. Paul Goldschmidt of Team USA against Shohei Ohtani. The navy blue tops are better for the U.S., but like, that is no.
That's just classic.
Put those unis next to each other, that is no.
No, I like the Japanese uni, don't get me wrong. Very traditional.
Samurai Japans are.
Yeah, I get all that. Very, very traditional, and they're going with that sort of that old school pinstripe. I get it. I'm just saying, it's just a classic look, and it's intimidating. I've never faced Team USA in international play. 60 feet away, I've got Captain America coming up, looking like that.
I will say that is an interesting thing to hear from somebody who's played international baseball at that level, that you see that uniform and think, oh, that's USA, that's scary.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And even all the athletes walking around the village with all their USA, it's cool. Like, you're like, oh, I want to snag that hoodie or whatever, you know.
2-1 pitch to the leadoff man here in the bottom half of the 6th inning, Yenting Wu. Up and away, 3 balls and a strike. And that one grooves in there to make it full. Chinese Taipei, 5 hits in this game, but they have left 7 men on base. Such a good sport putting up with my uniform conversation, Ryan Roland Smith.
No, I love it.
What a guy. What a guy.
I mean, look at that.
The Navy ones are better. But like the script, like what is this drop shadow? That's like a font that I would have used on a school report in 1998.
You could put some stars in there. I get it.
A
couple stars.
Cornerstone.
You need more stars than stripes. Put it that way.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There's only 1 star in the USA Baseball package as a
By the way,
here.
Lito, he's got the old N.
Oh yeah, that is the old Nicaragua N on the Sandor Guido pullover. And Guido's gonna, I mean, no delay here. He immediately signals he's gonna go to the bullpen. So Osman Gutierrez issues the leadoff walk to Yenting Wu. But man, what a great inning and 2/3 of work from Gutierrez, who got it out of that bases loaded jam in the 4th, stranded a man in the 5th, and the leadoff walk will bring an end to his night here in the 6th. Second appearance of this World Baseball Classic qualifier for the left-hander Leo Crawford, who takes over on the mound for Nicaragua. A leadoff walk for Yenting Wu, issued by Osman Gutierrez. And Wen-Jae Chun steps into the batter's box to get his first look at Crawford tonight.
Yeah, Leo Crawford came in, got some big outs against Spain, matching up to a couple of lefties. Doing the same thing tonight.
Crawford, another guy with previous national team experience for Nicaragua. Got to a 0-2 count quickly here. And a bouncing ball left side could be 2. Instead, Chun will beat it out at first, but they'll get the out on the lead runner, Nianting Wu. Fielder's choice makes it 1 away, with the runner at first. Leo Crawford, in his Nicaraguan baseball career, did pitch in the World Baseball Classic back in 2023. Former member of the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. He spent time in the Dodgers system, reached AAA back in 2018. Also spent some time in the Brewers system. He was on Nicaragua's qualifying roster all the way back in 2016 when he was just 19 years old. He's been on U23 Baseball World Cup teams, pitched in the WBC qualifiers 3 years ago in Panama, and then in the main tournament. And here he is, back wearing that national team uniform. Foul ball from Wang.
Yeah, one thing I've been really impressed with, the short amount of time I've seen Crawford, but just that little two-seamer in on the hands to lefties. That's such a weapon. If you can own that inside part of the plate, it just makes that break ball so much tougher.
Bouncing ball right side with the runner moving. They will still get the out at first on Wang. That was a good job by everybody on the right side of the infield. Elian Miranda had sprung off the bag and first started to go for that grounder and then immediately turned and beat it back to the first base bag, and he's there to receive the throw from Brandon Layton. But the ground ball advances Wen-Jie Chun, and with Chinese Taipei still trying to figure out how to get on the scoreboard tonight, they've got a man in scoring position again.
Yeah, one thing, this bullpen from Nicaragua, we've seen it the last couple of days as well, but especially tonight, energy, the momentum starts to shift into that first base dugout down there for Chinese Taipei, and these, you're talking the couple guys who've come in from the bullpen just pumping strikes quickly, forcing the action quickly, as opposed to messing around, trying to nibble, getting in trouble, and just getting quick outs.
First pitch misses away to Chung Yu Chun out of the 8th spot in the order. He is a pinch hitter here in place of Xiao Hung Zhang. So the starting catcher departs this game. 2 balls and no strikes now on Chun. Grooved in there for a strike. Ryan, it's kind of crazy when you drink in the energy and the music and the chants and the songs and all of that. Just as an impartial observer, you kind of feel like if you're a member of this roster and you can't get the offense going, it almost makes you a little bit more frantic because you don't want to waste this from these fans. And to be fair, this never ends with these fans. I mean, we've seen them in games with their team down double-digit runs in the 9th inning. They're still doing this. But there is an added element of pressure when you can't get it going, and that's what this team is facing right now.
Yeah, they're just getting prepped for Tuesday. That's a good pitch right there from Crawford. 3-1, changeup. Get him right back in the count.
3-2.
Another one.
Play.
Well, watch out, Travis.
That's your boy.
That's your boy.
Travis back in 2023. He left an impression on us.
Yeah, he did. He made. I mean, he went viral, I feel like, on social media.
He did.
Like up against the railing.
The slow motion head banging.
Yes.
With a magnificent head of hair, by the way. Travis getting this crowd into it. Full count pitch on the way to Chun. And a drive out toward right center field, slicing over Montez and cutting in front of him. It's Chase Dawson to snatch it away. And that will do it for Chinese Taipei in the 6th. Nicaragua's pitching staff continues to dominate, and it's a 3-0 lead for tonight's visitors as we go to the 7th. Here's where things sit on the final night of our round-robin 3 days of competition in the 2025 Taipei qualifying round for the World Baseball Classic's 2026 edition. A live look at the standings, the lone remaining unbeaten in the WBC qualifier here in Taipei. Looking to stay that way as Juan Diego Montez and Nicaragua get closer and closer to a berth in the 2026 Classic. They are now 9 defensive outs away from achieving that goal and rolling through here unbeaten in Taiwan.
I feel like Montez, he's locked in right now. He gets that pitch again, he's going to do some damage.
Juan Diego Montez 2 for, oh man, and you might have called it as he crushes one down the left field line, but foul. That reached the back wall of the second level. And Montez, unfortunately for him, was a fraction of a second too early. Wow. Reached in his first 2 trips to the plate today. He's officially 1 for 3 with a run scored. That one's down. 3-1. Bo Hao Chun got the last out of the 6th inning.
Yeah. 3-1 count. If he challenges him right here, I'm telling you. Ooh, just missed it.
In the air to right. Sung there, 1 away. So these are the things that it is important to keep in mind, because there still remains a possibility of a 3-way tie and a 2-way tie, of course, pending the result tonight. Head-to-head matchup in a 2-way tie gives the result to the winner of that game, but it becomes a calculation of runs allowed over defensive outs recorded that determines the tie-breaking procedure for 2 or more teams tied in this World Baseball Classic Qualifier. Brandon Layton to left field. That one falling in a hurry and on a slide. Jiawei Lin couldn't make the play. Around first, Layton digging for second, and he's there in time with a head-first slide. A hustle double for Brandon Layton. And he may have injured himself on the slide.
Chai Wei Lin putting a good effort in. By the way, let's not forget, remember he took that ball off the face on a similar play a couple nights ago, and man, they would have had him too at second base. See Lee looking all over the place.
Brandon Layton was kind of helped to his feet and waved up help from Kaz Fukuzumi, the athletic trainer, as well as Sandor Guido, his manager. Kaz and I were on the same flight over from the U.S., and I caution to say this, but if anyone in this WBC has a better mustache than Juan Diego Montes, it is Kaz Fukuzumi, the athletic trainer for Nicaragua, who has an equally, if not more, amazing mustache.
Trying to steal his nickname.
Kaz is from Japan. We have to figure out what mustache is in Japanese. Then we can have El Bigote and whatever Kaz's nickname would be. As Chase Dawson will bat with a man in scoring position and one gone. If this score holds, we would, rather than having a three-way tie, nobody would be tied. We would have Nicaragua winning this group at 3-0, Spain at 2-1 as the home team on Tuesday for the second versus third place game against Chinese Taipei, which would be 1-2. South Africa eliminated 0-3. 1-2 pitch, Dawson on the right field line, foul.
I love Dawson's approach. You can see until he gets the 2 strikes, he can turn on that pitch. If he gets something out over the place, he's going to try and hit that ball into left center field with 2 strikes.
1-2 on the Nicaragua resident and Winter League standout for the Leones of Leon. Chase Dawson swings and can't catch up to that one. Gone on strikes.
Yeah, kind of sped him up a little bit. You can see him just trying to stay with that pitch, let it travel just a little bit more, but nothing doing. It's getting late.
Might have been a situation in which the foul ball got a piece of that little lady down the first base side. Hopefully she's okay.
Or she's just a huge Chase Dawson fan and he likes seeing him striking out.
It's possible too. Ground ball back up the middle. Yu Chang ranging to his left, and that'll wrap up the 7th inning. After the 1-out double, Nicaragua retired, but the time is running short for Chinese Taipei as they trail it 3-0. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Incorporated and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Leo Crawford back to work for Nicaragua on the pitcher's mound in the bottom of the 7th as he will square off with 9-1 and 2. Chung Rae Sung hit the inside the Parker yesterday against South Africa. He's going to bounce out to Freddie Zamora here, 1 away. Chinese Taipei just nothing sustained outside of that 4th inning, Ryan. They loaded the bases with 1 out.
Yeah, you felt like there was going to be a breakout in that 4th inning. Matter of fact, early in this game, you felt like they were going to get into some kind of rhythm. We've talked about that too, leading into this tournament. Or excuse me, since we got to the start of this tournament, just real clunky offensively. Nothing building. Yeah, South Africa last night, you felt like, yeah, a couple big swings late in the game, put that exclamation point, you know, all of a sudden you can start rolling, but way different to the performance what we saw in the Premier 12 pretty recent.
You know, and there obviously is a lot to be said for the pitching performance tonight for Nicaragua, but being somebody who understands this at the highest level, what has made Nicaragua so effective? This is 26 1/3 innings in which they have allowed 2 runs, and it's not, you know, earth-shattering stuff. There are not guys out here pumping 98, 99 with just wipe-out breaking pitches. What's made Nicaragua so good?
It's just, I mean, classic example right now, look, 1-2. Right now, a couple things. First of all, getting good counts, right? We talked about that with South Africa, who don't have the depth. Dylan Unsworth, the difference was there, you can say all you want about what level he's pitched at, but he's filling up the strike zone. You're giving yourself a chance when you're getting good counts if you don't have plus stuff. That's number 1. Number 2, what I've noticed is just the job from this bullpen as well. And this is not just today, but you come into a hostile environment with Osman Gutierrez, Leo Crawford. You waste no time. You have that good tempo as well in between pitches. You're not walking around the mound, falling into 2-0 counts. You come straight in and set that tone and keep that tempo. And that's been a huge, huge difference, shutting down any kind of threat.
Sandor Guido's going to go out and get his lefty Leo Crawford, and that will send the southpaw to the showers. Pitching change for Nicaragua in the bottom of the 7th. Righty Jesus Garrido onto the mound here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He inherits the bases empty and 2 gone with Sung Chen Lee, the starting second baseman in Chinese Taipei's order out of the 2 spot, the first man in to see him. Garrido trying to continue a shutout that was started tonight by Dilmer Mejia. pressed forward by Osman Gutierrez and Leo Crawford. And Ryan, they have just been a staff that has done everything right, and they have been backed by a defense that has done everything right.
Yeah, well, a couple things too, just on the defense. Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, I'm going to spring training with the Mariners right after this, and Perry Hill, the infield coach with the Seattle Mariners, would be very proud of what he's seeing. But your defense can be enhanced when you do have that good tempo on the mound. When you're working quick and you're getting in good counts and having shutdown innings. But, I mean, the bullpen hasn't surrendered a run. And again, just back to the defense. Obviously, I'm getting pretty heavy on the pitching, but how good has that defense been? It has been a game changer when you talk about runs against.
And a fly ball to shallow right, racing in to make the catch. Juan Diego Montes, check that, actually a change defensively, but either way, the fly out ends things in the 7th. We go to the 8th, Nicaragua with the 3-0 lead. The world rankings, according to the World Baseball Softball Confederation, look like this for our 4 teams among these Taipei WBC qualifying squads. Chinese Taipei, the number 2 ranked program in the world. Nicaragua, number 16. Spain, number 24. South Africa, number 31. Now, these rankings require a little bit of explanation because it is not, as we talked about the other day, you are watching potentially from the United States and you think to yourself, all right, rankings, what is that, like a poll? The media members vote here as we got a new arm into the game for Chinese Taipei, Junwei Sung. That is not how those rankings work. The rankings work based on a point system, the ranking methodology from WBSC. You gain points for your country or territory's federation by entering competitions and by the success that you have in WBSC sanctioned competitions. So continental qualifiers for the Youth World Cups at the U12, U15, U18, U23 levels, Premier 12, the events like, for example, Spain won the European Championships in 2023. You get a certain amount of ranking points for that. All of that stuff adds up to where you sit on the WBSC rankings board. Now, obviously, certain countries benefit from the fact that they can send teams to any and all of these events. You look at Japan, Chinese Taipei is along those lines as well. You can compete in virtually everything. There are other countries that don't do that, and it would probably surprise people to know USA Baseball, for example, does not send a team to the U23 Baseball World Cup, because that's just a level that you've kind of aged out of by the time you've gone through the U.S. national team development programs, as the pop-out is out #1 here. But you come from a place where the rankings table, the success that national teams have tied so heavily into the funding and the infrastructure of baseball.
Yeah, and I think too, you know, with Team USA, from a high school standpoint, with some of those youth events, they lose out on some of the ranking points because, you know, look, they're going on a perfect game events. They're going to, everyone's trying to showcase the college programs and the whole bit. So, you know, obviously playing for Team USA, of course, that's a huge honor. But they try and stagger it more so these teams can go and play those showcase events. But from an Australian standpoint, and this has always been the case, especially when baseball has slipped in and out of the Olympics. If it slips out of the Olympics, well, all of a sudden, from government funding standpoint, say if you're in the top 12, okay, we'll give you this X amount of funding. If you're in the top 20, you're going to get less funding. So, man, they really, really matter. But it is a little tougher now to get these Australian players to go over to play in Korea or in Japan if there's a tournament, because those kids, they want to go showcase them for colleges for themselves.
The ever-evolving landscape of international baseball, and yeah, how it, you know, can put you on the radar in certain circumstances, but also, you know, maybe diverts you from a different event on the baseball calendar that you may want to participate in as well. There are just so many different pathways these days for players.
Yeah, and high school kids, that kind of have to, as a family, have to make that decision. All right, like, you know, I want my son to go and put his best foot forward. We're going to play in the United States. So see Sang with some nasty stuff. 87 mile per hour slider. He's pumping 94s, 95s on that fastball. Again, wearing that Chinese Taipei uniform. Getting a chance to be seen by scouts all over the globe. Pumping 95s.
But one thing that really stands out when you look at those rankings is what a stunner it would be if Chinese Taipei does not qualify for the 2026 Classic. There has never been a World Baseball Classic without Chinese Taipei. They had to go through the qualifiers once before. That was back in 2013. And after that, they actually made it to the second round of the Classic that year. They were close to a trip to the semifinals. But man, it would be a shocker if Chinese Taipei did not make it out of this group. I mean, coming in, before we knew the roster situation, we thought, this team just won Premier 12. They've been having this success at U15s, U18s, U23s. They are going to truck these teams in this qualifier. And then an entirely different roster from what we saw for Premier 12 back in November. They go with this really young group. They get blasted on day one by Spain. And now they're staring down the barrel of a 1-2 start. And you got 9 innings to play for your WBC Lives coming up on Tuesday. Freddie Zamora on the infield to his counterpart, Yu Chang, and that will retire the side. Just the third time today, Chinese Taipei pitching has retired the side in order. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The final night of round robin of the 2024 World Baseball Classic Qualifiers, 2025 World Baseball Classic Qualifiers. We are 6 outs away, potentially, from seeing Nicaragua move on to the 2026 Classic at a perfect 3-0. And seeing Chinese Taipei and Spain get set for a showdown coming up on Tuesday with the second golden ticket, if you will, World Baseball Classic in 2026 on the line coming up on Tuesday. Jason Chen fly ball to right field, leading things off here in the 8th, 1 down.
I love how you try and pull out inside off-air jokes to the actual broadcast.
Always. It's always good when you acknowledge them on the air, too. Nobody would have been any the wiser.
Yeah, by the way, that whole uniform conversation we had earlier, you know how that started? Is because you mentioned the fact you like the gray pants.
Oh, yeah.
That's how that all kicked off.
Road grays for Nicaragua.
Yeah,
very big on the road grays.
Yeah, you're getting hated on by your entire country.
You know what's amazing? Two baseball minds that I very much respect on my side, including a guy who you know who told me to tell him I love him, but I disagree. Shot down the left field line. Yu Chang's going to have extra bases as he'll pull into second with a 1-out double. MLB.com's very own Mike Claire said, tell Ryan I love him. But I definitely agree with you, Tyler, that the smartest person that I've ever known or met. He might not have said that part, but he too agrees the USA Baseball needs to.
Yeah, I do agree in the sense as we see Yu Chang hitting a double. Then, like, I'll tell you right now, if Chinese Taipei, real quick, back to the game for just a second, start putting together some runs, right, this place might erupt. But I do agree. If you have just a little bit more star in the logo, I get it. Absolutely.
Another pitching change for Nicaragua. Chinese Taipei still trying to keep this thing alive. It'll be the southpaw Carlos Teller to take over as the latest arm into the game for Sandor Guido's Nicaragua national team. Moving along in the bottom of the 8th inning. We got a 1-out double from Yu Chang. That has made this inning a little interesting. We are far from the finish line. Chinese Taipei trying to get on the board. And there have been times tonight, Ryan, where it's felt like if they can get one, the floodgates are going to start to open. There have also been times where it's felt like, how are they going to waste this opportunity? And that's been sort of the dichotomy of this offense for Chinese Taipei over the last 3 days here in this qualifiers. Yinting Wu takes the 1-0 up and in.
We see Teller coming into this game. We talked about how good that bullpen has been. Yet to give up a run, by the way. All of a sudden, he's got a 2-0 count.
Man, you've touched on this several times, and it bears repeating every time we get a reliever who comes into a situation like this. The bullpens are underground here at the Taipei Dome. They are under the seating bowl, and so you are not able to experience this atmosphere until you come out into it. And that can rattle you as a reliever. 3-0 grooved in for a strike.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like just being in a batting cage at a hitting facility where you hear a little bit of music or you hear that the echo from the ball hitting the glove. Quiet. walk out and all of a sudden the decibels just go through the roof.
3-1 is high for ball 4, and the tying run will bat in the bottom of the 8th. Visit to the mound here from the Nicaragua pitching coach, Len Picota. Ryan Torres working in the Nicaragua pen. These fans have not had much to cheer about tonight, but they are on their feet and still just as energized here in the 8th as they have been at any other time. Teller kicks and deals. 1J Chun takes ball 1.
Yeah, see Teller, this is the best opportunity they're going to have all night long, because Teller just does not have that command unless he makes an adjustment right here and gets back in the strike zone. There you go.
1-0 is there. Fastball to even it up. 1J Chun is 0 for 3. Check that, 1 for 3 tonight. He was the second man to reach when Chinese Taipei loaded the bases with 1 out in the 4th. They left them that way. They have stranded 7 on board tonight. That inning was their best threat. 2-1, ground ball out towards second, a chance at 2, inning over.
Wow.
Nicaragua's defense just continues to shine under the lights of the Taipei Dome, and the shutout will continue to the 9th. Our score through 8, Nicaragua 3 and Chinese Taipei 0. Yet another reliever will enter this game out of the Chinese Taipei bullpen, the 6th that we have seen tonight. And it is Yunwen Chun, who is potentially the last arm that we will see as he takes over for the top of the 9th inning. And Hao Ju Sung, Wei Peng Lin, the manager and pitching coach on the right and left of your screen, respectively. Their team has done some good work on the pitcher's mound and in the field tonight, but at the plate, They have not been able to capitalize on a few different opportunities. Chinese Taipei grounding into an inning-ending double play with the tying run at the plate in the bottom half of the 8th inning. First pitch from Chun is moved in there for a strike to Ronald Rivera.
Yeah, just the latest victim of that pitching defense combination from Nicaragua. That's been essentially the big reason why they're on the verge of qualifying to the World Baseball Classic. A team ERA 0.64.
Man, you said it yesterday. You said, you know, it's so cliche to just say pitching and defense win ball games, but Nicaragua has been the perfect example of that. They are 3 outs away from returning to the World Baseball Classic. If you are Sandor Guido, Everett Lopez, some of the other decision makers with this Nicaraguan baseball national team, I think the thing that you take away from this is obviously you are thrilled with what your team is able to do pitching and defense wise, but offense was the problem in Miami 2 years ago. Nicaragua only scored 4 runs combined in its 4 games. And here they've scored 7 over 3 games, but still just not a lot at the plate. And they have put together 8 hits tonight, but that's something that this team is going to need to accentuate before getting into the 2026 Classic.
Yeah, as good as they're being, and we've talked so highly about obviously pitching and defense, but you're still in the back of your mind if you're going into the 2026 World Baseball Classic, like, all right, who's going to bring the offense? Yeah, it's not like you got 4 or 5 guys who are sitting at home right now, playing in the big leagues. So, hey, I'll put my hand up and play. You're going to figure something out internally with the offense.
Just one big leaguer from Nicaragua at the start of the 2024 season, and that was a pitcher, Jonathan Loizaga. 1-2 left side and threw a base hit. Christian Sandoval, who entered this game a couple of innings ago, has a knock through the left side.
Yeah, not to mention too, again, the difference is you get to that World Baseball Classic, I mean, you're running into a starting pitcher as an MLB All-Star. Yeah, even in pool play, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you face and who you're up against. This qualifying team, who they're going to slot into, whatever pool they're going to put them in. You're going to essentially face just all-star pitching staffs. So it doesn't get any easier, that's for sure.
So back at the top of the order, here is Juan Diego Montes. Big cut coming up empty on the elevated fastball from Yunwen Chun. Looking ahead to the bottom half of the 9th inning. It'll be the bottom third of Chinese Taipei's order. Boshun Wong has a shot right side and through for a base hit. It's a 2-hit day for Juan Diego Montes.
He doesn't want to leave Taiwan. He's starting to heat up.
Now 2 for 5 tonight, but he's reached 3 times. He has scored a run.
He hit the ball all over the field too. And not to mention that foul ball he just got out in front of. I'll take that in the spring training.
Quick conversation at the mound. Chun-Yu Chun out to discuss things with Yunwen Chun. Brandon Layton, really good day for him. 3 for 4, a pair of doubles. He drove in Nicaragua's first run with a double to left field in the first inning. Way out in front of that one, fooled. It's 0-2.
This Chinese Taipei team, regardless what happens, they're going to sit around on Monday, and sometimes, Tyler, we don't quite appreciate some of the nerves that this crowd, everyone involved in this with this program, you're going to be dealing with on that off day on Monday, having to wait, because guess who they got? The team that nearly mercy ruled them on the first day of competition, team, the Spanish team.
Runners off, and the throw to second for the trail runner is not nearly close. A double steal as Sandoval swipes third. Montez takes second. It comes on a strikeout, so Layton retired and 2 gone. But now 2 in scoring position for the left-handed hitting bat of Chase Dawson.
Yeah, you got enough speed from both base runners. Couple good jumps.
Chase Dawson singled a drive and a run back in the first inning as well. 1 for 3 with a walk in total today. First offering in for a strike. Dawson, a Valparaiso University product, an Indiana native, but a resident of Nicaragua. He's played the last couple of seasons in that winter league, and he shoots one to right center field, a base hit, and that may do it for Nicaragua. It's a 2-run knock for Chase Dawson, who slides into second with a potential game-breaking double in the 9th.
Yeah, we talked about Chase Dawson's approach. Stays on the pull side and then kind of flips it with 2 strikes. And that's the same pitch that beat him his last at bat to get that swing and miss. Not this time. Just ambushing that fastball up in the strike zone.
This is quite a scene for the 35,000, 40,000 fans in this stadium.
Yeah, and you have that feeling you're going to get it into Tuesday, regardless, right? Regardless of really what happens tonight. However, you want a little bit of momentum. You want a high five when you walk off this field, get back in that clubhouse, play some music, feel good about getting back on the bus as you got to sit out on Monday on that off day. But man, you can see they're just depleted. Some of the big characters, some of the team leaders on this team.
Fly ball to right field off the bat of Miranda, and that one gets down for a base hit. Dawson scores from second. An RBI single for Elian Miranda, and Nicaragua inching closer to 2026.
Yeah, good way for Elian Miranda to finish this game. Was frustrated, a couple strikeouts. He didn't agree with home plate umpire. Iksu Kim coming up big right here, getting a nice little base hit. 6-0, Tyler. Wow.
Nicaragua, through its first 20 innings of this game, of this weekend, I should say, had 4 runs. They've got 3 in this inning. Combined in their first 2 games of the weekend, they had 13 hits. They have 12 tonight. And Benjamin Alegria and his guys, who have celebrated walk-off wins on the first 2 days of this World Baseball Classic Qualifier, might get to celebrate something even bigger here in just a little while. There are a decent amount of fans who are headed for the exits right now, and that is not something we see very often here in Taiwan at all. There's a lot of frustration, and there is going to be a lot of soul searching if things do not go well on Tuesday for this team and for this fan base, because, Ryan, they wagered a lot on turning over all but one player from the Premier 12 roster in November. And right now, it's not going well. Chinese Taipei 3 outs away from dropping to 1-2 in the qualifier, playing as the visitors coming up on Tuesday against a team that blasted them 12-5 on Friday. And this inning continues, a 2-out walk here for Alegria.
Yeah, with all that being said, we're watching, the get derailed here, especially in the 9th inning, but you got Wei-Yin Lin, A's prospect, Po Yu Chun, Roshi Shu. I'm just looking down the list here. Some guys you will see on Tuesday. Just gonna roll in. Feel good about what you're doing, but see a pitching change.
We will see another pitching change. Chinese Taipei is going to have to go to the bullpen yet again for the 7th reliever of the night. 6-0. Nicaragua has doubled its lead here in the 9th. Well, guy Ryan mentioned a moment ago, Wei-Yin Lin takes over on the pitcher's mound for Chinese Taipei, the athletics prospects, who will try to get his team off the field, now trailing this game 6-0 here in the 9th. And obviously it's going to be all hands on deck coming up on Tuesday. There's the off day tomorrow, so it's not a ton of risk throwing somebody out there if you can keep the pitch count limited tonight.
Yeah, I just don't think they wanted to use him, right? They didn't script it. I mean, is this kind of that situation where, like, hey, look, we need you to go throw to a hitter? And by the way, the other thing is, too, if you're a young pitcher like Wei-Yin Lin, you're kind of sitting with your feet up here late in the game thinking, well, I'm not going to pitch tonight, because you're kind of mapping it out. All of a sudden, Nicaragua put up a 3 spot, and then the phone rings, and there you are, and you have to change your mindset real quick. I've been caught out in that situation. It is not good, where you kind of, your head's already thinking about Tuesday. You're already thinking about, okay, I'm not pitching tonight, and then boom, you're out there. Look at this. I mean, the command's not there at all. The other thing is, too, you don't want to get a phone call tomorrow, Monday, our time, Sunday back in the United States from the Oakland. They say, hey, listen, we know this Lin just pitched a couple times. He's down. He's done. Shut it down. You don't want that, because you need him to stay alive here to qualify on Tuesday.
Big cut and miss there from Elian Rayo. 3 balls and 2 strikes. One affiliated guy going after another as the athletics prospect squares off with the San Francisco Giants prospect in Rayo. 2 guys who might square off in the California League in Stockton and in San Jose. in short order. 3-2 runners moving, and it is Wei and Lin who gets the better of this matchup with a strikeout of Rayo, and that will do it in the ninth. But Nicaragua doubles its lead, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. It's a 6-0 game. If you are wearing the blue and white of Nicaragua, you are having some fun tonight as your team is 3 outs away from clinching a return trip to the World Baseball Classic. And we head into the bottom of the ninth inning with Nicaragua out in front of Chinese Taipei, 6-0. Our score, a 3-0 lead going to the top of the ninth, turning into a 6-0 lead in the bottom half. And man, the music and the chants and the drums are still going, but these fans,
yeah, not a whole lot of reciprocation.
Yeah, that is a perfect way to put it. The 0-2 pitch on the way is shot down the left field line, foul. Koshun Wong will try to get this thing started for his team. The first baseman out of the 7th spot in the order. 7 for 10 in the tournament and the qualifier after his single in the 2nd inning. He has since walked and grounded out. So it's a guy you love having up there.
Yeah, Tyler, just watching Nicaragua these last couple games, going back to that game against South Africa, which was, you know, tied up until the 10th inning. And South Africa, who we saw, we talked about their depth and their talent level, not quite there, the same as Nicaragua and Spain and Chinese Taipei. They went from that to basically putting up a 6-0 against the favorite Chinese Taipei. They've got better and better as these days have gone on. And that bullpen has just been, it's bent, but it hasn't broken.
If Nicaragua finishes off this shutout, to update you on the number that Ryan gave you as a leadoff strikeout. 6.2 staff ERA. Nicaragua qualified for the 2023 World Baseball Classic, their first berth in the tournament, but the numbers they put up offensively, not enough to get a win and potentially stay out of the qualifier here in 2025. 1 run in each of those games. Tonight, they have showcased a little bit more offensively, and they're 2 outs away now from a World Baseball Classic berth. Pitching change in Taipei. Brian Torres will try to finish off Nicaragua's historic win with 2 more outs as he and his team stand on the precipice of clinching a trip to the 2026 World Baseball Classic, dominating Chinese Taipei tonight here on their home soil. A 6-0 lead as we continue along in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the first pitch from the right-hander Torres is in for a called strike to Chung Yu Chun. One of the catchers on this roster came on midway through this game in place of Xiaoheng Zhang, the starting catcher. Well, Ryan, I do have to close the book on one thing that we discussed. We finally got the name of our guy, the color analyst on Elta TV for these broadcasts here in Taiwan. That is Qing-Yi Cheng, who was a big leaguer here in Taiwan for the Cobras, a now defunct team in the CPBL. Pop fly, foul, first base side, settles into the glove of Elian Miranda, and now Nicaragua is 1 out away. And we'll get a pinch hitter as Zhou Lin, the former major leaguer, will try to extend this thing at least for another moment for these fans here at the Taipei Dome, but a dejected crowd starts to file toward the exits on this Sunday night.
Tyler, just another little name for you to throw at you. Nicaragua, we talked about trying to find some offense, right? The pitching has been so stellar, but find some offense for that World Baseball Classic in 2026. I just got word that Mark Vientos' mother was born in Nicaragua. So it's going to be up to Sandro Guido and his staff, do some recruiting, get him to join the crew. That'd be a nice little addition.
And that is something, man. I mean, if you can find those, I remember talking about this with Great Britain, how they built their roster, finding some of those heritage elements of players. 1-1 swung on and missed. Zhou Lin and Chinese Taipei down to their last strike.
Yeah, shout out to Vic and shout out to Fernando Rea for giving me that information. Now I'd love to see him rocking the blue.
1-2 just missed there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Torres trying to send Sandro Guido and his team back to the World Baseball Classic. Torres is ready. 2-2 pitch. Count goes full. Talked to Guido this afternoon, and he said, I hope we see you in the Classic next year. And his team 1 pitch away, and the 3-2 is ball 4. So Zhou Lin puts himself on as a base runner here with 2 outs in the 9th.
And you see the player eligibility, Mark Vientos, who's going to be getting some phone calls leading into March next year. I am sure of it. But you see the birthplace, citizenship, legal residency. I'm telling you, it was a little tougher back in the day, I feel like, because I know Australia was trying to do some hardcore recruiting to get players who essentially could be eligible. But it's good to see you said it too. I remember talking to the coaches with the Great Britain team, and they did some serious deep dives into who could be eligible, whatever it took to get him a part of that team and get him into the World Baseball Classic. Got a chance to go to London last year, work on the BBC, the Phillies and Mets. And they got a nice little baseball community over there in the UK.
Had a pitch timer violation a moment ago to put the count at 1-1. It's now 2-1 on Zhou Lin. 2-1 popped in the air, into left. Nicaragua ready to explode onto the field as they are headed back to the World Baseball Classic. what a showing by Sandor Guido's team. Nicaragua gets a show of respect and applause from the remainder of the 35,000 plus who are in the building here tonight in Taipei. An absolutely dominant, unbeaten run through 3 days here in Taiwan. And Nicaragua, fittingly on the strength of a shutout, pitching and defense carried the day, but the offense came to work here tonight. And in a 6-0 win for the second straight edition of the Classic, Nicaragua is headed back to the main WBC.
Oh, you mentioned the pitching and defense. That was that foundation. And we talked about how cliche, how boring it sounds. However, that was the difference. That put them in this position today where they could breathe easy going into this game. They're in the driver's seat. And you mentioned, Tyler, the offense came and showed up on this last day for them here inside the Taipei Dome, upsetting these 40,000 fans who are coming here to see their team, Chinese Taipei, get the win on day 3. But man, what a feeling. And remember too, for 99% of this roster, this is Game 7 of the World Series for them. They get a chance to go back to the World Baseball Classic in 2026.
Man, look at that celebration for Nicaragua as they are elated to be once more in the main tournament field coming up in 2026. It did not go the way that they were hoping back in 2023. They struggled a bit on the offensive side of things, obviously, but to be in this circumstance for the second straight tournament after never having qualified before, Nicaragua, Sandor Guido said to me earlier today, we got some really good baseball in Nicaragua. And they showed it this week with 3 terrific performances. You get to celebrate back-to-back walk-off wins and then celebrate in the middle of the diamond today and make that trip in 2026 to be back in the main tournament field. What an accomplishment for Nicaraguan baseball.
Yeah, and again, the majority of this roster, it's made up of guys who are playing winter ball in Nicaragua. They all know each other. They have that team chemistry. You can see Guido, the way he's talking to his players. They know each other like brothers. And so this is a special feeling, but I just love the way they did it too. The bullpen didn't surrender a run in the last 3 games. And they won in extra innings, like you said, Tyler, some epic moments late in games, and then just took care of business tonight. And by the way, there were some tough moments where they're on the ropes in this game where Chinese Taipei could have blown it open, and they just didn't budge whatsoever.
And that is a guy who it is real easy to be happy for in Sandor Guido as his team celebrates. They gather in this familiar huddle that they have had over the last 3 days. Following their wins, their walk-off victories, 2-1 over South Africa, 2-1 over Spain, and tonight 6-0 over the host squad, Chinese Taipei. And Nicaragua was certainly not a team that we were going to be surprised to see move on to the main tournament, but doing it in the fashion that they did, this is as impressive of a performance as we have seen in a qualifier in recent years. And man, those are some incredible images, and a huge congratulations to Sandor Guido and the national team program in Nicaragua as they are headed back to the main tournament. What a showing by this Nicaragua team.
Yeah, and look, they're going to be busy too. I mean, they got a big, first of all, they're going to get through the summer. You know, it's only February, by the way, but all thoughts and all direction for this national program is going to be heading towards March of 2026. And they got plenty of time to get prepped. Remember, if you go back to 2022 when they had to qualify for the next year, it was a quick turnaround. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they can put all their ducks in a row, figure out their team, make sure everyone's prepped, go do some recruiting. We talked about, hey, Mark Vientos, I don't know if you know this or not, but you are going to be hounded right now. They're going to be all summer long. I know you've got a big Mets season to go. But if they can, you know, add a little bit to that offense with that pitching, that defense, man, they're going to be in good shape, and they're going to find out what pool they're going to join here very soon.
Ryan Rowland-Smith is the new lead recruiter for Nicaragua's national team to get Mark Vientos onto that roster for 2026. But this is a big step. I mean, it's one thing to make it through the qualifier the way they did in Panama 2.5 years ago, turn around with that quick. It was only about 6 months after that qualifier until the main tournament in 2026, or in 2023 rather. But for Nicaragua this time around, getting into the main field 2 classics in a row, you just continue to build on that momentum and the visibility that you get, the excitement that it generates at home. You know, we talked with Sandor Guido about this Nicaragua team that won bronze in the U23 Baseball World Cup just a few months ago. He said, we had fans. That event was held in China. We have fans staying up overnight to watch our games. You don't think that excitement translates even tenfold to a team like this? This is a big accomplishment for Nicaraguan baseball.
Yeah, and look, hey, listen, I've been a kid where I wouldn't call Nicaragua a non-baseball country, but when you watch your heroes wearing that Nicaragua and that country across your chest, I remember for me being a kid when Australia won the Intercontinental Cup, they beat Cuba. I remember watching that, going, man, one day. So what this does for your national program, not just the fact that you're going back to the World Baseball Classic, moments like this, they get echoed all over the country. Young players can look up to that, and it only does huge, does wonders for those young kids coming up through Nicaragua and through that program.
Now, we are far from done here in Taipei,
Yes.
because coming up on Tuesday now, we've got a showdown and a rematch of the thing that kind of gave us the indication, oh, we're going to have some chaos here over the next few days. Spain blasted Chinese Taipei on Friday night. 12-5 was the final in that game. Spain led from the top of the first inning on. Chinese Taipei, obviously very anxious and very eager to try to get some redemption, but this is a team that looks a little bit lost right now.
Yes.
They are 1-2. The offense has not gotten things figured out despite putting up 9 runs against South Africa yesterday. This is going to be a very tense next 48 hours here in Taiwan.
It really is, and this is not how they wrote this up at all. Look, we talked a lot in the last couple of days about how they restructured their roster. They're going with a young team, only 1 player returning from their epic Premier 12 experience and win over Japan. And so they're in a situation now where pitching, they have to structure it the right way, find something offensively, but it is going to be a nerve-wracking couple days, because we know here in Taiwan what this national program means for these players. Man, they are essentially at risk of not going back to the World Baseball Classic against a team that beat them and beat them very well on that first night. So we've got a lot of baseball. Usually when you watch a team celebrate on the field, you're like, oh, let's go home. Thanks, everyone. No, we've got plenty of baseball, and that Tuesday is going to be epic. Spain versus Chinese Taipei.
It was not the way that Chinese Taipei had drawn this thing up, but the home team will still get an opportunity on Tuesday to play for a ticket into the main tournament in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And so will Spain, a team that lost on back-to-back nights 2.5 years ago in potential qualifying matchups to Great Britain and the Czech Republic. They too get a shot at redemption and the main tournament field.
Yeah, look, this place is going to be rocking. By the way, I don't even if they had tickets ready or anything to sell for Tuesday. But I'm telling you right now, fans are going to show up. It's going to fill this place up. It's going to be loud, trying to be that 10th man, push that Chinese Taipei team across the finish line.
They had initially only sold 10,000. Now they've opened up the whole ballpark because the home team is in it. We will be sold out on Tuesday, and you can join us then. Tuesday morning, 6 Eastern time on MLB Network as Chinese Taipei and Spain play for the second qualifier ticket to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. For Ryan Rowland-Smith and our entire crew, my name is Tyler Mon. Congrats to Nicaragua on to the 2026 Classic.